1-2. Ladies and gents, just to let you know, we'll be starting in about 10 minutes. It'll be Scotland captain Preston Momson first, and then it'll be player of the match, Moeen Ali. Will be up after. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you'd like to take your seats, please. We've got Scotland captain Preston Momsen. Mind you to all, silence your phones, please. Okay, excuse me. Cameras ready down the back? TV ready? Okay, who'd like to ask the first question?
G'day, Preston. Bad luck. How do you feel, first of all?
Yeah, very disappointed. Having won the toss, we're very disappointed with the start we had with the ball. Second half of our innings, I thought we did brilliant to restrict them to only. So we went into that half-time break. We were pretty confident we were in with a shout there. It was a good wicket. Unfortunately, with the bat, we just couldn't quite get. I thought Carl batted beautifully, but not enough support and not a big enough platform there to have a proper base.
Particularly, you've learned from that with bat or ball.
Yeah, I think with the ball, especially when there's a bit of assistance, it's critical in any format really to make sure we're putting the ball in the right areas, asking the right questions of the batters. We're playing against some quality batters there, and to give them an easy start, it's difficult to pull it back, and we saw that today.
And with the bat? Yeah,
with the bat, obviously some of the dismissals were slightly disappointing. I think we had more than we thought in that chase. It's quite a quick outfield there, quite easy to get scoring. I think once you get in, once a partnership gets going. So, we were looking for that partnership, that 100-run partnership, and unfortunately it wasn't there for us. So, we need of a platform up front, and we couldn't quite get that today.
What is the gap between the sides? I mean, obviously the margin there is quite large. I'm not sure it's that big. What do you think?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
What is the margin between the sides, do you think, as the scoreboard would suggest this evening?
No, I wouldn't think it is that big, and as I said, I'm very disappointed. There are some things we didn't do very well. There were some things we actually did very well. So we couldn't quite put in the full package, and that's very disappointing, and that's quite regrettable, but it just wasn't meant to be today.
Preston, England had suffered two very heavy defeats coming into this match. Did they look at all apprehensive to you? Did they seem to be lacking in confidence?
Well, I think it showed, once we got rid of Ian Bell there and Moeen Ali, that, they were pretty vulnerable in the middle there. And, we knew we could keep taking wickets, and we did keep taking wickets, which got them to 300. And hence, we took a lot of momentum going into that whole, from the platform they had of 170 odd for none to restrict them to only 300. We took a lot of confidence from that.
Stage when they were 170. A really big score from them.
Yeah, I was trying not to think too far ahead. We knew though that if we did get wickets, that there were guys coming in that we try and get early. Unfortunately, a lot of those guys, we did get out early.
Hi Preston, you said last week as well that it just didn't click, it didn't quite happen, and I just wonder ahead of Afghanistan if you would consider making some changes. whether that's the batting or you're going to stick with a kind of tried and trusted lineup with the openers and going down 6 and 7?
Yeah, I think we adjusted to the team we were playing against today in the changes that we made, and Ali came in and did a fantastic job with the ball. Freddie unfortunately couldn't get going today, but I think he looked the part. We'll have to go away and reassess, reflect, and see how we're going to approach that Afghanistan game. Obviously, that's a critical game for us. Having played them quite a bit in recent times, it's important that we put in a performance there.
You've played New Zealand and now played England. Do you get a sense that the two teams are closer than the result that they got between them? Do you think that England are actually got a realistic chance?
I think, yeah, definitely. If you look at the 11 that won the Park today, there's a lot of quality in that team. It's obviously going to be important for a few of their boys to find form. Obviously, Moeen looked in fantastic touch today, as well as what he offered with the ball. He's a genuine all-rounder there and looks a quality player. And I think, Finn, a brilliant comeback from him after the tap he took against New Zealand. So he'll gain a lot of confidence from today, I'm sure. On the whole, I think, England they're a quality team. There's a lot of good individuals there, and I'm sure they will do well in the World Cup.
You're not really playing a fifth bowler, are you? Is that something that's always going to be a bit of an area of weakness in this World Cup?
Yeah, that's something we look at. There's the balance of the team. That fifth bowling option today probably was a little bit expensive. Took 1 wicket. And that's something, again, we'll go away and reflect and decide whether option for us moving forward. But with the new regulations, yeah, it is difficult finding overs, and sometimes it's worth thinking about that fifth bowler being a specialist bowler.
Preston, I guess you'd think your batting is normally the strength of the team, but in both sort of the first 2 games, you've had some spells of having a good partnership, and then you've lost sort of some wickets in clusters. What do you think is kind of going wrong there, and that you're fulfilling your potential and haven't been able to get to sort of 200 yet?
Yeah, that it has been disappointing from a batting. I can't really, say exactly what's gone on there. A couple of guys just not quite getting in, and unfortunately, when guys are getting in, not quite going on to get the big ones, which is fundamental to getting big scores. So there's lots of small things that aren't just quite clicking, but hopefully over the next couple of days we can put in some hard graft and make sure we're firing for Afghanistan.
Thank you, Preston. Thanks, Ben. Thank you. It's actually England captain Owen Morgan will be joining the press conference now. Enjoy your travels, safe travels. Thanks for all your help with us. Cheers. I was told it was mowing. Yeah. No, I checked in with Stephanie on.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, Ian Morgan.
Cheers. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Captain Owen Morgan, who'd like to take the first question?
Oh, and we had Ian in yesterday saying didn't want to just win, you wanted to win with a clinical performance. I'm guessing that was pretty much close to that.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of positives to take from today. Ian's innings is one of them. I thought him and Moen, in reasonably tough circumstances, the ball held up a little bit and nipped around early. And I thought they held the composure really well, and Moen struck the ball as well as he has been. And to set a platform like that was absolutely ideal.
Was it slightly disappointing not to score more then after you got that platform?
Oh, I think you're always disappointed. You get more than you should, but having been there for the last 5 overs, the wicket slowed up the older the ball got, and with the wind as well, it made it difficult to find the boundary, and that gave me more confidence that 300 was above a par score.
One area of concern, I guess, maybe Gary balances for me. He looks like a guy who that much on this trip. Is that an area that's worrying you and one you have to look at?
It's not worrying me. Yes, he hasn't had as much time at the wicket or scored as many runs as we'd have liked. Up until today, we had a few guys like that. We went 3 or 4 games where we didn't perform as a side, and today we've put in a good performance. So if we can build on that, and like today, guys put in individual performances and we built around it, and I was really happy with that.
Can you just tell us what a win will do for the squad, bearing in mind what you've been through?
No, I don't think there was ever a state of panic. Obviously, 2 hard games, and the fact that we didn't perform was the most. But a win just puts things a little more at ease. Guys, a little bit of confidence. Even the guys who didn't perform, to rubbing off or up against any. Sorry, that sounded terrible. Talking to other guys who have success today will be good for them.
And was it helpful as well? Obviously, Moen was the star performer, but you chipped in with 46, and Joss had a little cameo. Steve Finn some wickets. The responsibility of the performance was shared.
Absolutely, and again, you named the outstanding performances. Moen, Finney was brilliant. Guys around that. I mean, Brodie bowled really well, but unrewarded. But yeah, guys building around match winners is a good sign.
Tell us about your innings. You gave yourself a bit of a chance at the start and then looked pretty fluent, somewhere near back to your normal self.
Yeah, it's obviously nice to spend a bit of time at the wicket and get some runs, given my run of low scores. But again, the bounce here was a little bit different, and the wicket slowed up a lot, so it took a little bit of time to get the pace of it. So, having lost our 2 men in probably the space of about 5 overs, it was difficult to rotate strike in the middle as well. It's not easy to come in and bang it from ball 1. So it was a bit more of a calculated and curved innings today.
How's captaincy? One good thing that you've done so far, and one area you need to improve, apart from the runs, of course.
Oh, you want me to identify? I'm not telling you.
Okay.
Just on your opponents today, Owen, what did you make of Scotland? And obviously in your Ireland days you played against them a fair amount. How sort of the last decade or so?
Well, we played against them last year and had a quite a competitive game against them in Aberdeen, I think it was. Show signs today that they're growing stronger. An area in associate cricket that's come a long way probably in the last 5 or 6 years is that on the flatter wickets they used to, because they didn't have pace bowlers, change things up, but I think that's come a long way since then. And again, we prepared any other game or won the international that we were going to play, and that Scotland should take a bit of credit from that, under the pump in their game. And although today wasn't their day, I'm sure they'll come back stronger.
Even Moeen scoring that century up front and then also taking those wickets, he's kind of an underrated cricketer probably in the look at it in a world circuit. So how do you rate Moeen, who is also a spinner?
I rate him really highly. He's an all-rounder in which we haven't had for a very long time. Somebody who opens the bat in the fashion that he does, and the purchase he gets on the ball. I think we're very privileged to have him, and we certainly don't undervalue him.
I mean, your group games, and from what you've seen of other teams before, known of your own performances, where are you sort of rating yourselves?
You're rating ourselves against other teams. It's a matter of focusing exactly on and trying to produce it as often or as consistently as possible.
Have you seen stuff from other teams that has concerned you, or are you pleased with your own? Just in relation to what you've seen and how the tournament's unfolding generally.
Yeah, I think coming into a tournament having not played, so again they don't come around very often, so everybody watches and takes a huge interest. So I'm no different. And again, in your head, I think you can be guilty of a tournament of having to play at your high or your best throughout the tournament and hammer every side and in order to win it, to gain confidence. But I think the games that I've watched in particular haven't shown that at all. Strong sides have been beaten, and again, it's about getting how you do it. Doesn't really matter.
There aren't many Doosras being bowled in this World Cup. Would you like Moeen to bowl his?
That's up to Moeen. I haven't spoke to him about it. He hasn't needed it yet, so I'm sure we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Owen, what do you think needs to be improved on for the weekend, which will presumably be a step opponent?
I think just a little bit more consistency in what we do. Again, we hit reasonably well today, but if we're totally harsh on ourselves, we weren't. I mean, it was a good wicket to bat on, probably the newer ball bat against when Scotland batted. So we're probably below par in that sense. So just being ruthless and simple in the way we approach things.
And I just wondered, how close did you come to making any changes to the team? I know you suggested that you're not decisions, but a lot of people thought that might be one or two. Was that something that came to your mind?
We obviously can before every game, but came to the conclusion that again we haven't performed in the first two games, so to argue the balance of the side was wrong, you couldn't really do it because we hadn't seen guys perform. And again, I was very confident going into the first two games that we were the strongest side to win those games. So reinforcing that confidence by going with the same team today was very important for me. Thanks, guys.